Welcome. Over the next few minutes, let's take a look at Adobe's new generative AI tool in Lightroom Classic. This is powered by Firefly that we've seen in Photoshop and some other applications. Here I am with some polo images, which those of you who know my work might seem a little bit different, but I like new experiences. I'm going to jump over to a different image, and overall I like this image, but as you can see, we have a few distracting things that are taking away from the subject matter. Now I am in the develop module. I'm going to go to the local adjustment tools. And one of the things you may notice that the tools have been renamed a little bit. We now have the remove tool instead of the clone and heal and a few things. Now when I open it up here, the clone stamp works just as it did before. The healing brush is the same. But when I go to the remove tool, I have something new called, it says early access, and it says generative AI and object aware. Something that's really important to understand is that when it's set up in this way, just using the regular remove tool, you do not need internet access. However, when you work on the generative AI, you have to have internet access because the work's being done in the cloud. So let's go ahead and turn this on. It's off by default. And now when I come into the image, I can simply just start to paint. So let's lose this person in the background. I'm just going to paint over them a little bit. And I'm just going to paint around. That looks pretty good. And I always like to give a little bit of extra space. And I can do my add or subtract as normal with the brushes. And I'm just going to hit apply. Now you'll see this is being done in the cloud. And we can just wait a second here. I'm not going to do anything really large because that'll take quite a bit longer. And of course, it does depend on your internet speed. So how long this takes. Now, kind of a funny result here, but I can click through different variations. And there's a second variation and a third variation. Don't know I had added a little table there, but ended up with a few things on the ground that could be easily retouched out. So I'm going to go with that one. If I want to do a few other options, I can click refresh, and I can also just do a whole nother 3. But again, with variations, and every once in a while, I don't know why I have a table or a looks like a person, but we'll go with this one here. Let's also take a look at this sign back here. I might shrink my brush down a little bit. There's also a photographer back there. So I'll just highlight it, hit apply, and we can see what's happening here. Works pretty well and pretty quickly. That actually works good. So let's go ahead and just click through the options. Yeah, they're all pretty similar, but I like the breakup in the trees over here. So we can see how quickly this actually works. Now, let's say I wanted to remove this post back here. I'm going to go with a little bit smaller brush. And I don't know if it'll do a good job on this or not. I haven't tried this one, but I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And I think it'll probably do a good job. But, every once in a while you get surprised by something that works really well or something that doesn't. That actually looks great. Sometimes just removing small distractions. You'll notice there is a object aware. And what this does, it very similar to Photoshop, it helps find the object in the image. So I am just going to kind of quickly go around this. I'm not going to be as careful as you saw earlier. Let's see if it helps me out here. Now what it's designed to do is if it can detect an object, it will go around it and it'll apply a little bit of a buffer. You'll see that it added a buffer all the way around because that actually helps with the algorithm. Now, I have a funny feeling this isn't going to work well because it's going to try to replace it with something else. But hey, I'm game if you are, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to hit apply. It's a little bit larger, but I guess my internet's running pretty well right now. So we'll see what it does. I have a funny feeling it's going to add another animal. So I really don't know what that is, but let's see what the other options are. But I could easily try to remove this also. So let's go with option 2, option 3. So sometimes, but let's just try this. I'm just going to go to generative AI here. And now I don't know why we would want to remove this because it's kind of nice to have the polo player in there since that is our subject matter, but I'm game. Let's see what it does here. And it may try to create something new. That's something we always have to consider that it sometimes will. Actually, it did a really nice job with that, but I do miss the polo player. So I'm going to go back in my history in here and let's just back up. There we go. That looks pretty good with that. So we can add the polar player back in. So that is a very quick tutorial on the generative AI powered by Firefly. But again, quick reminder, if you want to use the generative AI, you have to have internet access. If you turn it off and you just go with the remove tool, then you do not. So hopefully you found this helpful.